What's going on, guys? Just wanted to relook at some of the positions that I wanted to look at for this week. And if you have anything that you want me to look at, I can definitely do that for you guys. This is the one that I'm looking at the most. Or actually, let me go just back to the overall market real quick. This is pretty much what I have set up as just a general forecast of what I think is going to happen for this week. So this is the S&P 500. This has been the last several days, about 2 weeks or so, 10 business days. And usually what will happen is you're going to see price come back down through this sort of forecast path. It'll look like this, right? We'll drop. We're going to drop down probably somewhere about 0.8 to 1% tomorrow, and then come back up again. So it'll look like this, and then we'll go somewhere like that going down, and then eventually we're going to break up going higher. So this is what I call breakout season. Breakout season is awesome. Breakout season. Breakout season is the best. There's nothing better than breakout season. Breakout season, just to remind you of what breakout season is going to be something like this. If you go all the way back to last year, this was this candle here was 11% in one day. It went up the entire day. This was Liberation Day or Liberty Day, or I guess whatever Trump called it last year with the tariffs. But you're going to see afterwards, we then trend down and sideways. Down and sideways, okay? And then from there, we break out pretty strong for the next 2 weeks. We then get to another breakout, going trending down. We break out. Then we start trending down, and then we break out higher. We trend down and break up higher. We trend down and break up higher. Trend down, break up higher, trend down, break up higher. You kind of get what I'm saying? We could do this. It was literally like this all last year. That's breakout season. It happens almost every year at this point that I've been watching since 2020, and, at least in the modern economy, because we have 90 million more traders than we did right now in since 2019, and we have more all of the top 25 companies are hitting their revenues and earnings estimates quarter after quarter after quarter, the first time it's ever happened. So usually for next week, I'm looking at something like this, which again is going to go sideways and down. People are going to get caught in this. People are going to get caught right here. But I'm looking for this breakout right here about a week from now when there is some sort of real deal that's announced. There'll be a breakout. It could happen sooner, it could happen later, I don't know. But at some point, that is what I'm looking for, and then at that point, every stock breaks out. Apple, Nvidia, you could just take your pick. Short-term options, those will be like, 300% for the day. But this is pretty much what I'm going to be looking for. NUVB. Yeah, if you guys have anything you want me to look at, now is a good time to ask me. NUVB. You know what I was looking at actually? I had it on my phone earlier. This might be a good time to do it. I was looking at all of the peptide companies. Um, like how peptides are getting really popular right now. There's a bunch of stocks that are really undervalued that are in the peptide industry. And if peptides are going to be the new, sort of fad, I like whatever this is, NUVB. It's a health tech bio company. This is a good break above the 50 moving average right here. You could see this break. I'm going to add this to my watch list. I think I might already have this. Yeah, I do. It's already on my watch list. I think I've looked at this before. But we have a long way. We're going to take out this sell block. The next sell block is going to be at 661. So it's good to have buy pressure and sell pressure on your chart because then you're just trading blind. But yeah, I was looking at some biotech stocks for the peptide, the whole peptide fad. Um, there was one that let's see, we could take a look at this one. VKTX is Viking Therapeutics, and they're about to break out of this big structure right here. It's a $35 stock. I used to play this 6 months ago or so. But now it got in this huge area here, and if we pop out, we could really run. But I'm looking to play this for a little bit more of a long-term play. You could see right here, this area that I'm talking about. Let me just delete some of these older. I actually did exactly what I wanted to do last time. But now, oops, now we are breaking out of, or about to break out of this area right here. I like when the trend line comes down to meet the 200 moving average and you get this nice triangle action right here. See what I mean? And now what's going to happen is this stock is going to go down and up. It's going to consolidate and it's going to pressure all into one area, and then we're going to get a pop back up. That pop is what I look for, and those are the pops that I play as entries for, longer term swings. So those entries are pretty good, but they are they have a lot of exposure to the peptide industry. So I'm starting to look. I'm not that good at playing health and biotech companies, but the peptide industry is starting to become a real thing, especially now that the GL1Bs and all of the Ozempics are really playing out well. People seem to like them, so that's what uh, that's what I've been checking for my next video for the peptide industry, because that's the next thing I think is really going to pop off. NVIDIA is interesting, right? Because we do have a analyst. The analysts have NVIDIA at 260, and it's at 201 right here. Here's the all-time highs at 212, right? So if the all-time highs are at 212, then we're not that far away from NVIDIA getting back up to this level. We're pretty much just floating on up. A good way to check if the market has bottomed is you just go to NVIDIA's lowest support level, and if that holds, usually the entire market holds. So when it got to 164 and bounced straight up, I was pretty sure that that was the bottom, because you could see over here 164 was a really big support for NVIDIA, and since then they've just gone straight up. It wasn't like NVIDIA was going to get to 150 or anything. That would have been insane. So now we're pretty much on our way to 212. But a lot of this was setting up the last 2 months. Like if you guys have been on my lives for the last 2 months, it's just been setting, for the last 3 weeks. It's been the same thing over and over again. Um, but yeah, it's still undervalued NVIDIA because the analysts have it at 260. So I never got silver to come back and touch to go back up. I wanted this entry point down here for silver. I really, really wanted it. But I couldn't get it. That would have been a perfect entry for silver, but I can't always get perfect entries. So now, interestingly enough, I do own SIL, which is the silver mining ETF. So long term, I still have it. I did play this over here, the second entry over here. I made a Instagram video I titled it "My Best Options Entry for the Year." So that worked out really nice. But in any case, I did sell that for about 200, 100 something, 140% when on this candle here when it moved up. But in any case, now we're over here and we are above 80. We're above the 50 moving average. And what I like about moving averages is when price is moving up, we have our buying pressure You could see that. That's pretty obvious. We have price moving up, and then we came back down to the moving average, the 50, and now we're pushing back up again. So the next level is going to be probably right here, 88 for, so we have a lot of real estate to move up on silver. So as long as we keep this trend line backbone support level right here, we're going to keep pretty well with silver. So it's a good time. Good times for silver. No problem. What else did you guys want? IBRX. I mean, we have all of this buying pressure here. That's amazing, right? So also, I need to put some of my indicators back in. I don't know what happened to them. I need a oscillator. That's strange. I don't know what happened to them at the bottom down here. Whatever. I'll just use the buying pressure. There it is. Let's delete this. Remove. There we go. Now I got everything right. I have my momentum over here. I have my volume down here. And I have buying pressure and selling pressure above price. That's all I need. Now, if price breaks the 50 moving average on IBRX at 797, then we can go to 934 pretty easily. So that's what I got for that. Anything else? What else do you guys want to see? I'm going to be really looking at Microsoft closely this week. We went up 21% pretty fast. And you could see all of this buying pressure. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas of buying pressure, which was like the most amount of buying pressure I had ever seen from Microsoft. I think more than when it jumped up over here. Yeah. So we had a lot of unusual buying activity. We had that congressman buy 1.1 million versus call options on Microsoft. So I'm glad a lot of you got in that with me. I was saying this for like 2, 3 weeks straight for Microsoft. Um, buy it in any shape or form that you can, because it was probably the easiest money that we were going to get handed, so far this year. I wish I went heavier on it because it was such a good buy area, this area. We were literally in this area for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 days before it broke out. So that's 3 trading weeks we were in this low area, and we never really dipped any lower. So it didn't even matter. You didn't even have to get a perfect entry. That's the thing, is that I don't care about getting perfect entries. All of the Instagram and social media videos talking about having a perfect entry, it doesn't matter that much unless you're really staring at 1 minute charts. You don't need a perfect entry. I think everybody talks about having a perfect entry like it's the most unbelievable thing in the world. You don't need a perfect entry. You just need a more perfect take profit. You need to be confident that it'll probably go to your take profit. If you're confident that price will go to your take profit, you don't really need a perfect entry, because if you're just taking profit all the time, there you go. Stop losses doesn't even matter that much. You know, just be really confident that it could get to your take profit area at some point in the future. And if you feel like that's not going to happen anymore, then take it out. But the whole thing about having a perfect entry, I mean, there is a way to get a really good entry. I'm not going to explain it right now, but it's easier to say, oh, well, AMC broke this 50 moving average right here. We have buying pressure right here. This should continue up to the 200 moving average. And if it doesn't, then take it out. But if you're confident that it's going to move to your take profit area, that's the only thing you need to be confident and sure about. It's the only thing that actually matters. The entry doesn't really matter all that much. And I don't care how crazy that sounds. You know what I mean? But yeah, we could get back to AMC. I don't really know what this company is doing anymore. I don't follow it anymore. A lot of people bought it at $1 just to buy it, but it went up 86%, pretty quickly. So, it's still pretty good. I still like Webull here. We're either going to go in one of 2 or 3 directions here. we're either going to go straight up or we're going to go sideways down and then up. So we're either going to go up, back down, and then we're going to go something like this, or we're going to go somewhere like this, right? That's the two forecasts probably for Webull. So probably it, since we're up after hours, it could do either or, but I think these are the two real possibilities. We have so much buying pressure off of this break. People have been looking for this break for a long time. Just to show you how far down it really went. It was up at almost 18, and it went all the way down to 450, and now we're back up to 670. We'll probably be at 7 next week. So we do have a long ways to go back up, but we got a lot of real estate. The only thing that is concerning is if you go to a weekly time frame. Hold on a second. Where did my indicators go again? There we go. You're going to see that this 20 moving average is right above price right here. You always play price back up to the next moving average, which was this 20 moving average. From here, right, you're going to see this 50 moving average up here, which is going to be the next one after that, around $10. So, but yeah, if there's anything that you guys want me to look at, we could definitely look at. Now's a really good time to put in a stock and I'll take a look at it. This is Bitcoin. We're at about 75,000 right now. So I have Bitcoin going in three directions. Now I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Is Bitcoin going to go with A, B, or C for this? Do you guys think Bitcoin could go A, B, or down and then do what C is doing? I'm just curious what you guys think, because this is probably the three ways that Bitcoin is probably going to move as a forecast. But if you guys have any idea, it'd be cool to get your idea on what you think. But yeah, this is the three ways. Bitcoin will either move up and come up to this area within the next let's see, I could tell you how long. It'll either be 35 days for A, B is 91 days, and C is 43 days. So it'll either be 36%, sorry, I'm trying to think this will move up about, 30% or so. And it'll either take about 35 days, 91 days, or 294 days. So those are the three places. So if you think it's going to be one of these, definitely like to know what you guys think. Or if you have no thoughts and don't really care, I can move to something else. It's not a problem. Or if there's another stock that you guys want to look at, I could definitely look at it for you. Meta also has a pretty nice way for it to move back up here. This area right here, somewhere between 723 and 735 for Meta, is going to be a really nice area for Meta to move up to. You can see these are easy to draw. This isn't like a hard thing to do. Nothing I do is actually that difficult. Like it's something that you could get in about a week of learning it. What's cool about learning charting is that you'll know it for the rest of your life. You could always look at any chart and know pretty much where it's going to go next, which is a good thing. It's one less thing to worry about, you know, of just knowing chart-wise where it's going to go next. And then if you just couple that, that's 50% of the battle. The other 50% is just making sure the stock is in a trending industry. Then the other thing is making sure that news-wise, between domestic or international events, it fits the narrative of that particular stock for that week. Other than that, it is pretty simple. It's not like it's a very difficult thing to do. There is no like real prodigies in finance because it's so nuanced and personal. So, it's not like a science that there's breakthroughs all the time. I mean, I made this over here. Sorry, not this. Trader Daddy Pro is at this point with we have every modern um, options flow or stock flow or volume flow. You could be good at charting, but if you don't have order flow and no order flow, that's the engine that gets it going. You know what I mean? So to check this, before putting your stock in with your entry is a really good thing to have. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that, we don't have any and then this is unusual options flow that's live that comes into the real time to the second. We don't have any right now because the market's closed, but to check this during the day is pretty good. Usually Bookmap or Cheddarflow will charge like $80 to $130 a month for something like this. But we built it for our group and gave it to them for $19 because what's the point of having them use something else that is going to cost them that much? So it's cool to keep innovating. I mean, we built all of the things that we did for the indicators already. Those are all already custom. But you guys can also have this too. You just have to message me directly for it. These are all the breakouts that are happening right now or on Friday. There were so many of them. You could see all of the breakouts. It was just so many here. We had so many to the downside as well. And then we had a lot of reversals. These are all the reversals. Anyways, we also have all of the politician trades. These are the top politician trades all in one place up to the day. You could see that a lot of them are moving into financial stocks. They've been buying a lot of Marriott stock and hotels recently, which makes me think if we take over Cuba, the Marriott is definitely going to be there. That's for damn sure. Um, Also, insider activity, the CEOs of companies, CoreWeave was definitely a big one. The only reason I'm not a big fan of CoreWeave, I think it's already overinflated. And I think that because it has so many, um, CoreWeave also is a huge stock position for NVIDIA's stock portfolio. So all it takes is NVIDIA to sell off a small percentage of CoreWeave and it'll crash down. That's happened about 4 times so far. So you're kind of just guessing with CoreWeave. Um, the hedge fund tracker. The hedge fund tracker tells you the top buys that the hedge funds are making, and not with their 13F filings every quarter. We scrape the data on the announcements. So every announcement of every major hedge fund is, that has an announcement. We scrape the data, we take that, put it into here, repurpose it, and you can see AMD, Coin, and Circle are the three. Coin was a good one that we also played last week as well on Thursday and Friday. That was a pretty easy one as Bitcoin was breaking out. Also, Coin was on the bottom here, so it wasn't like it was going to go anywhere. Um, here's your support level for Coin. But the major thing that we looked for once the hedge funds started to buy it was that you could see whenever Coinbase starts to there's 3 things with a breakout that you need to look for, right? So if you ever wanted to know 3 things you need to have for a breakout, these are the 3. You need to have unusual buying activity with your breakout, right? And we have that. You could see it needs to be, especially from the bottom going up, support going up. You need to have that. It needs to be pushing above moving averages usually. You have 2 of them right here pushed above. We have 2 areas of unusual buying activity right here. We also have momentum pushing straight up. A couple days ago, it was, right here pushing up. So it was perfect. And then we want to see that there's green volume on the bottom. And there's green volume and it's been moving upwards. And you can see that kind of slightly right here moving up. So that makes the breakout valid. Since we've been doing that checklist, we haven't missed. Every breakout has been valid since January. And it hasn't been easy to play breakouts in January because the market's been going down and sideways. So, just having this makes it a lot easier. I mean, a lot of the breakouts we were playing obviously were in the oil industry because that was the trending industry. Why play something else if you have a great trending industry to play? Um, and now you also had two other things that were great here. You had this breakout candle. It's a green candle that doesn't have really any wicks on either side. It went from here to here perfectly. Then next to it, your secondary candle, you had a big wick pushing off of buying support, which is right here. So now you can just set up your third, you could set up resistance here, right? And then this equals a power of 3. Okay, what is that? 1, 2. This is the third time coming back up to a similar resistance. Whenever the third time, it's a very high probability that's going to hit. So we go 1, 2. This is the third time going back up to this resistance, and we hit. And so that was a pretty easy one. I mean, it got there pretty quickly, and then it came down, but it definitely hit and even went above for a little bit. So that was nice. But yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow because I really want the entire market to go down and sideways for a bit. Something that looks like this. If the market could go down and sideways, just like we did last year after a huge rally, so much buying pressure. Oh my goodness. Then once we go down and sideways, then we're going to push back up. These breaks I'm going to take every single time. Just so excited that breakout season is here. I've been looking for breakout season for a while. We finally have breakout season. So, that's going to be nice. But it's always nice when we know the next level, right? And you can know that what's called a GEX calculator. It'll tell you exactly the next level with open interest. Right now, we're on Friday, it was a pretty hard level to get over 710. We actually got to 713. But the next level is going to be to the upside 715. So to show you where 715 is going to be right here. So 715 is going to be right here. So what I'm going to do just preemptively is I'm going to draw a line right here, 715, right over here, somewhere around here. 715 is going to be right here. So now I have pretty much a nice little game plan of where I think is going to happen. Now things can change, and if things change, I'll adapt and I'll move with that. I'm going to go over that more tonight with my premium group. But the premium group is nice because I don't talk at them. We talk with each other. So, I'll say something like, you know, 715 is our ultimate target for a price to go back up. Now, obviously, if we have really good volume and we have really good momentum that's heading up, that's a really strong thing. But again, we're looking to head back up towards our target. What's our target again? And I'll just wait like that. I'll just wait until somebody tells me. It's just called, active listening. It's hard because the thing is people will just treat you like a podcast unless you change that circumstance of learning. It was the same thing when I taught in high school, same thing when I taught in college. Like people will just zone out when you talk at them. So you have to ask recall questions every 30 seconds, right? The target is 715, Even though I said it 100 times, you could say it a million times. But if you don't break for people to redo it, or say the answer, it'll be really hard for them to understand because then they just treat the whole thing like a podcast. And that's why a lot of times people don't learn anything because they'll just zone out. It's not their fault. It's just because the person is talking at them instead of with them. And there's a big difference to talking at someone or talking with someone. You have to make sure people understand what you're saying before you can move forward with anything. I think it just goes with conversation as well. You have to have, make sure that people are talking back with you and understand what you're saying to them, or else you're just talking, it doesn't really make sense to anyone but yourself. And that doesn't help anything. And it's just a big waste of time. Even in my Florida when I'm speaking in Florida, it's going to be one of the biggest options, stocks and options trading um, events in the country. That's going to be on May 5th through the 8th. The commissioner of the Chicago Board of Exchange is going to be there. The senior vice president of um, products for the Chicago Board of Exchange is going to be there. People from the Nasdaq are going to be there. Um, the product award winners from Benzinga are going to be there, and so I'm speaking after them. But when I speak, I'm going to definitely give out money while I speak, because then very quickly people can get questions right for $20. $20 a question. Every question will be something that I said 30 seconds ago. So it's not like you have to know anything about trading, you just have to pay attention. So nothing, I do that too sometimes in my New York ones. I have a free in-person trading group that I do every month in New York City. I've been doing that for 12 years. So, um, you know, it's always interesting to me though, where these people online spawn from, because I've been a financial advisor since 2012. And I've worked in New York finance for a long time, but there will be people that are like 19 and 20 years old, in the finance industry on Instagram or YouTube. And I'm like, there can't be people that actually take this seriously. It's like trying to learn nursing from like a 19-year-old that's never had a nursing job before. Like it's like laughable. So it always fails. I always fail to see how that actually ends up working for these people. I mean, it's cool for them, I guess, if they make money or whatever, but you're doing it at the expense of everyone else. It also dilutes the whole industry. But I guess after a while, that's what I was saying before. People, I don't think really want to learn anything. They just want to be entertained, which is fine. I get that, and that's why, like, when I do live things, it's good to just hand out money for answering questions, because it becomes more entertaining. Um, yeah, I hope the market does something like this. It'll be so much easier to play a breakout with. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, big difference between active learning, talking with someone versus talking at someone. Big differences. And it, even took me a while to kind of notice that people think they're just going to learn because, they've watched a couple of YouTube videos. Then I have to explain to them that it's like trying to learn how to swim via watching YouTube videos. And it sounds insane because it is. You know what I mean? Like, at some point you do have to actually like get into the water. You do have to enter, trades, or else, like, it would be kind of silly to watch other people swim to learn, like, if you would know like kind of what they're doing, but you would have to actually get in yourself and see, what to do. So Tesla earnings are coming up this week too, so I hope there's a pop. But big tech has been failing recently. So they've had good earnings and revenue, but they've all been falling. Especially, you could look at Taiwan Semiconductors and ASML and Netflix. Netflix popped down. There was a lot of unusual buying on Friday for Netflix at this area. It did pop right back up. So, we'll definitely see if this comes back up again. Um, but yeah, is there anything else that you guys want to see before I start wrapping this up? Any questions? Anything? There's some other peptide companies I was looking at. I mean, Lilly and NVO are going to be the bigger ones, obviously, but like there are some other peptide producing companies I think might catch a little momentum as peptides become a lot more popular. But we'll see. So maybe I don't think it's as popular yet, but I think once these companies start to have earnings, people will be forced to take notice. So, But yeah, if you guys don't have any more questions, that'll be it. Premium group, I will see you guys tonight at 7:30. And I will try to be back on here live tomorrow for a midday update. But you guys can always reach out to me. You can always DM me or get in touch with me, and I'll answer any questions that you have gladly. I do it all day long. Have a good rest of your weekend, and I will try to see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.